We finally got her going.
It's finally a real thing.
People have no idea what we went through to get here tonight.
Just mostly beers and football for me.
We were gonna go 2 hours ago, or an hour and a half ago. We were gonna start, and we had some technical difficulties. But Justin, thank you for coming, man. Thank you for being here, dude. I'm very excited to have you, man.
Yeah, I don't know why you want me on here, but
I mean, dude, you're an interesting cat, man. I mean, look at the beard. First of all, the beard game's on fucking point.
it's a lot of facial hair.
Dude, how do you have the patience to even get to something like that? Because I've tried so many times.
The key is just not shaving.
So like when what I mean though is when I get basically a little bit past this point,
yeah,
it starts to hurt and itch and bug the fucking shit out of me to the point where one night I'll just be sitting there and I'll be like, that's it, I'm done, it's got to go, and I just shave it all off, and I don't bick it, but I go down to a stubble.
Yeah.
How do you have the patience to get all the way to there?
I don't know.
Never gets uncomfortable?
No. Usually I've had it fully out, sides and everything, just massive. But yeah, everybody's always talking about how hot it gets, and no, it doesn't really get hot. It's normal.
I never minded
it's regular.
The heat never bothered me. The stink in the summer bothered me.
Yeah, well,
that one would get to me. Just fucking ugh. It would stink so much.
Got to shampoo and condition.
Yeah, I would, and then I'd even put like the scented beard oil in there, and it would smell great, But then, just didn't matter. Halfway through the day, I would be just smelling my upper lip, just that stank, sweat, just
yeah.
Same thing with my hats.
Oh yeah, hats.
They just stink,
always
dude.
get nasty.
Plus, in the summer I'm doing shit. I'm not just sitting here.
Right.
I'm fucking out chopping wood. I'm fucking working my ass off.
Yeah. Well, that's just.
I don't know why I mentioned chopping wood. It's not like I sit there and chop wood for a hobby. Well, I mean, I do chop wood sometimes, but no, I'm doing physical things that exert a lot of labor outside. Whether it's
some people do the chopping wood for a hobby. Just for
it's
fun.
Therapeutic.
Well,
it is very therapeutic. It's very cathartic, man. I gotta tell you, dude. It's when we go camping and everyone's kind of delegated shit.
Yeah,
I volunteer for chopping wood because I like it.
Go out there and find the wood.
Yeah, okay, no
You're
problem.
A wood searcher.
Especially if there's already a pile there, then I'm game. I'm like, all right, man, give me the axe. As long as there's a decent axe, I'm doing it. All right, man. So listen, for people that don't know who you are, just quickly explain what you do. Obviously, your name, I already said that.
Yep.
It's on the title screen.
It's on the title screen. I play bass in a band called Simothwa, and we're a 3-piece instrumental band. And yeah, been doing it forever and a day, and that's it's my hobby, if you want to call it a hobby.
Why'd you go? I wouldn't call it a hobby. You're a professional musician, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, you may not be fucking paying for $1 million home off royalties, but I mean, you're
right.
a pro. You're a pro, dude. We've been in the industry for a long time together. I gotta ask you before we get into our history of how you got here. I got a couple questions real quick about this band.
Okay.
Number one, why did you decide to go instrumental? Is that lack of ability to find a singer, or
no? It's you
just said fuck singers, or
a little,
you know what I mean?
Like a little bit, not in any like rude sort of way.
Here, get that mic a little closer to you.
Right up in my gullet.
There you go. Yeah, you almost want to hear your
not in any like bad sort of way. But so before the band now, Simothwa, we were a band called Less Than Nothing, which was a long time ago.
That's when I met you.
Correct. And then after that, we had some fallout with members. And then we did another band with with me, the singer Nick, and guitar player Jeff, and then we had our friend Drum, and we changed the name to Lavinia, and we did a few shows, recorded a CD, and then after that, the drummer who we had, he was doing our band and his original band, which was called Vernon Wayne, and they're really, really damn good.
That's a cool band.
And they're still really, really damn good. He was doing too much stuff, so he couldn't really do it anymore. And then we just kind of, me and Jeff, the guitar player, decided we were going to just,
Is Jeff the skinny white kid from Less Than Nothing?
Jeff is a skinny white kid.
the guitar player?
Yes.
Skinniest, tiniest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. Even that's me speaking.
He is
who
still
used to be stick thin.
He is still quite small. But he's putting on weight. I think he's up at I think he might be around the 125 area right now.
So this is Less Than Nothing. This is when we knew each other.
Yeah.
And then you evolved into Lavinia.
Yep. Lavinia.
And then it evolved into this.
Into Cymothwa, yep. And
so
there's one other one previous to this that I only have like a couple copies left. You can still find it.
The timeline is still here as far as the band names.
That is the timeline and the evolution. Yeah.
So here's what so how did you end up with no singer through this evolution? Obviously.
So when Lavinia, when the drummer decided he wasn't going to be able to do two projects, we just kind of stepped aside and we're like, well, what do we want to do? Me and Jeff had just like tons of riffs. Jeff always comes up with just shit tons of riffs. And so we had a bunch of stuff that we kind of hadn't really worked out or worked on with Lavinia. And we were just like, well, we don't know when the next time we're going to be able to actually get a drummer and get everything together. So told Nick, hey man, I don't know, we might just try and do some instrumental stuff. Me and Jeff practice together. We'll let you know if we're going to go down that road again.
Right.
And then we just decided, why don't we just write some interesting music.
Okay, so you didn't really even pursue a singer then?
No. Well, okay. We did actually, once we got the first drummer for Cymothwa, who is now the current drummer for Cymothwa. Once we found him, we had a bunch of songs together, and we're like kind of thinking, do we want to have a singer or not? And my friend Nate came down and barked and growled over some of our stuff, and it was cool, but he was in the right spot to join a band at that time. And so then after that, he was just kind of didn't want to pursue it. So we just said, fuck it. Let's just stay instrumental and do it that way.
So my next question.
Fire away.
Oh, actually, I had a follow-up question to that one first. Sorry, I just wanted to share the link on my other Facebook page so people knew we were live. So how has it been received being an instrumental band? Because I only know of a few bands that I like that are instrumentals. They're few and far between, especially like being on the heavier side of things, like or the metal side of things, or the hard rock side, however you want to try to define it.
Yeah.
How is it being received? How are people taking it? Like, is it working, or is it stunting you guys? I mean, I understand it's a COVID year, so it's kind of fucked everybody regardless, but how are things going before this?
I think it's been pretty good. I mean, people see us and then they're like, when's your singer coming on? Or had multiple people actually like, why don't you have a singer? I want to sing for your band. I'm like, no, we're good doing what we do. But I think it's a lot of you kind of confuse people, and I like the confusing people of side of music. Like, you do weird shit.
Sure.
We go from anywhere from doing something super heavy to like a circus riff.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, it takes balls to be a 3-piece instrumental.
The name of this particular CD.
You did these covers, all these covers?
I didn't do the artwork. My friend Tom Strom did the artwork for all this stuff.
Dude, these are
And
dope.
I just do the layout. And
Shout out to Tom Strom.
yeah, he's an amazing artist.
Oh,
but
and you
that's
did this
why
over at Will's?
Yeah.
Zero budget?
Yep.
Shout out to Will.
Yep.
Shout out to Tom Strom and Will.
But that one is named Destination Exile, that's kind of the
This
whole...
fucking artwork is cool as shit. Let me see if I can pull this up and show these guys. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's fucking...
I'll just look on our...
It's fucking
look
wild,
on our
dude.
fancy...
Here's the one I was looking at before.
Look on our fancy Facebook page, and you can see all the artwork. But, yeah.
That's pretty impressive regardless, man.
He does great work, and he's a good friend of mine.
This one's pretty cool, too.
He's done the majority of my tattoos. And he makes really cool stuff.
That's they're fucking sweet, dude. I like them. I like his work. It's baller.
Yeah, this one, and this one he painted specifically for us.
Nice.
The other ones he had.
This is stuff he already had done.
He had already done, and I asked him, "Pretty please, can I use it for?"
Well, shout out to Tom Strom. I might need some artwork for the album I'm working on, man.
He's an amazing artist and an amazing dude.
So where the fuck do you get this weird ass band name from, man? Simothwa.
Simothwa. Actually got that one from Tom as well, because he painted a picture of this fucking alien creature looking thing coming out of the mouth of a fish, and the top of the fish was the cockpit of a like spaceship. So like where the fish's eyes were, it was like windows, and there was like a dude in there driving. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? You're weird. He's like, no, that's a real thing. It's called Simothwa exigua. And I was like, okay, what the hell is that? Then I looked that up, and that was a long time ago, before we even did Simothwa. And then we were trying to come up with band names, which, you know how not easy it is to come up with a band name that no one else has.
Seems almost impossible.
And I remembered that, and I was like, what the hell was the name of that creature? And it's it's a parasite, and it attaches itself to the tongue of, primarily, I believe it was the red snapper fish, but other fish as well. And it latches to their tongue and drains the fish of blood, but still keeps it alive and acts like a tongue. So the translation of Simothwa exigua is replacement tongue.
Dude, I've heard of this.
And that's why, being an instrumental band, replacement tongue, you don't have a vocalist.
Okay.
Our first CD that we ever did was called Replacement Tongue.
See, I like the sentiment, especially with the thought behind it, but it does violate the holy trinity of band names. It's very difficult to remember. It's impossible to pronounce correctly unless you know. Yeah. And you can't fucking spell it unless you already know. So you violated the holy trinity of band names, but
don't give a shit. Yeah, that's part of
it's cool though. I do like that idea behind it, and it's interesting because this cover with this picture on it, I seen a disease somewhere in the world. It might even be a similar or the same or a cousin, where these cows, this parasite would come in and lay eggs in its mouth, and then the larva would eat the tongue, and then there would be so many maggots in the tongue that it would basically form a new tongue out of the maggots, and it would eat the food as the cow eats it as it came into the mouth.
That sounds
it was
gross.
and I've seen pictures of it, and it's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life. So it's kind of weird that that's the name, and then that's this picture as well. It's kind of cool. Kind of works all the way around. So yeah, we knew each other. We met way back in the day, and this is a pretty interesting story because we had like a little weird rivalry between our bands that I was not aware of until it became like a problem. And apparently I want to hear your side of this because you and I have never talked about this.
No, this is the first time I've talked to you in probably since then.
Probably.
Aside from emails and
Right.
random back and forths.
Right, but like actually talk.
Correct.
And we didn't even talk that much back then. It was you and my guitar player, and I'm not going to say his name. We don't have to put him out on blast, but you know exactly who I'm talking about. Now
we could talk about the shape of him.
That's too obvious.
Oh, that's too obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people don't have to be sleuths to figure out who we're talking about if you know anything about my history. But basically, it was something. Here's how I understood it from him: was that there was some sort of beef because we both had the word nothing in our band.
That was pretty much it.
And he said that you guys started it. Obviously, he would say you guys started it. But it like became like a problem. Like there was apparently there was serious beef between our two bands after a while that I was really not aware of for a long time.
I think he created a lot of said problem.
That makes sense.
I think it was all fabricated.
That sounds
really
like a lot.
I mean, but it's the same thing as anything right now. You got all these different bands. You don't want a band name that's similar to yours if you're trying to, differentiate yourself from someone else, just like, any band now doesn't want,
And we came out at almost the same time too.
Yeah, we were, well,
I think you were a few months ahead of us, but
yeah,
it's not like
probably 7 months.
Well, it's not like you were out for years before us. That's all I'm getting at. Like we came out relatively around, like definitely within the same calendar year, whatever year that was. I don't remember, but
yeah, I don't know. It was close. Either way, it was close. But yeah, we had a bunch of problems in the beginning of, the first Less Than Nothing CD.
That's that one.
No, this is the second one.
Oh, really? This one here?
Yeah, that's the first one was just hot garbage.
I think I remember that. It didn't sound very good.
Nah, it wasn't the greatest.
I don't think it was a professional recording. But neither was mine. So
we were just
I'm not talking shit either.
at that time, just too jacked to you're a rookie. You don't know, and you're like, I need to do a whole CD. No,
Right.
You need to do like 2 or 3 good songs.
Yeah,
and pass that out.
Yeah, for us it was a money issue. We just couldn't afford it, so we just didn't have one. And then somebody, I don't even remember who it was, approached us. We recorded some version of a shitty demo. It didn't sound good, but luckily I had the wisdom of older band members, and this is that band 7 Months of Nothing.
Yeah.
And they told me, they're like, we do not give this to people. Like, you
Right.
can give it to your friends and family, but like, we don't pass this out like as an album. This is strictly for people that we know and love to hear, and then for us to get shows.
Yeah.
Like, this is still good enough to book a show. That's it.
Yeah.
So I got lucky in that respect, but knowing that is also one of the reasons still to this day I don't have a high quality record pressed, is because we get shit done. And then I'm like, yeah, that's not good enough. I ain't putting my name on that. Like, my name's technically on the back of the CD, but what I mean by putting my name on it is sending that shit out, like putting it on the internet, like hard copying it. I'm like, no, I ain't doing all that.
Yeah.
This fucker can float around on the scene and shit, but this project will be the first project that I've done, like once we finally get it done, where I'm going to be truly proud of like the whole thing, the songwriting, the execution, everyone's performances, the production quality. I hit you up. That's kind of to segue into where I was going with this, is that's kind of how we reconnected.
Right.
Before the podcast ever started.
Yeah.
I saw something. I don't remember who you did. I don't remember who it was, but somebody I know had a design made by you.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it online, and I was like, oh, I know that dude. And that looks like pretty solid work. Let me hit him up. And so you did the foundational logo for the band that I'm currently doing.
Yep.
And then Corona hit, the riots hit, all hell broke loose, and my budget,
super happy fun times,
and my
as we like
budget,
to call them.
and my budget immediately got reallocated to two things: podcast gear and guns. and
maybe food here and there.
And
but,
that's my wife's budget.
As
Let's
long,
be honest.
yeah, as long as you have the guns, you should be fine.
Exactly. That way I can protect the podcast studio. So
Right.
hopefully we can make money off this, so then I don't have to worry about anything ever again. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's gonna take some time, but we did. We were kind of talking through some shit because I was still trying to move some stuff around and get some stuff done. But fuck, dude, being in a band is fucking hard, bro. Like, there's so many moving parts,
tons
to get shit done. Like, I started talking to you, I feel like it was like early, maybe even late last year.
It was almost going on, I don't know, I would say almost 2 years ago, or like a year and a half, something like that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, being, especially now, getting older and wiser, or older and dumber, whatever way you want to go. But yeah, it's difficult just making everybody's schedules work. I've got 2 kids, and all of their schooling and activities. Everybody's got jobs. Everybody's got something to do. And yeah, you still, if you want to do it, you still make it work. You still make time for getting down to practice and hanging out. And I mean, that's my,
and we're getting it done, but man, the timeline, it's not like it was for me 10 years ago, where it's like, okay, here's the deal. We got these songs, like, we should be able to get them done in this amount of time. We're going to record in 6 months. We need to have this done in 9 months. We need to have this done in this is like, no, this should be done in 6 months. All of a sudden, 9 months later, we haven't even gotten started because there's too many moving parts now.
Before all this shit hit,
I was having problems. I was at problems before all Corona shit.
We were actually we have 10 brand new songs, and we were supposed to record a new CD with Will at 1459 Studios. We were supposed to record a new CD with him the beginning of June, but then we had nowhere to practice, and just everything was going to shit. So, but now we're back in at his new studio, and we're practicing and making loud noises again, which is awesome.
You're at his new spot?
Yeah, his new spot
up in the burbs.
It's off Hiawatha. It's like over by the burnt down shell of the Hexagon.
Is that over by where fucking in the same neighborhood as what was that place called? The Chatterbox Pub down there off like Hiawatha, and
I don't know where the Chatterbox is,
because that's like
it's like memory lanes. Do you know where that is?
No.
Well, you know where the Hexagon is, right?
No, because that's that area of South that I never went to and hung out.
Okay, it's by the Hexagon. But anyway, that's his new spot, and there's a bunch of bands. You know, that all got slowed up. He went on a new venture of getting his new recording studio set up in there, and practice studios and all that. That all got held up because of the super happy fun times we've been living through.
Yeah, people have been trying to tell me, because I've been looking for a spot, and they're like, you should go talk to Will. And it's like, dude, unless every single room is 100% soundproofed, I can't do a podcast in a building with a bunch of bands playing. Like, no. It's not the right spot. I need a spot for like creator content where I will be the only band in that room doing music, and it'll be when there's nobody else there to disturb. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But I want to team up with a group of people for like a creator compound and do. There's a bunch of buddies of mine that want to start podcasts, and I got some buddies that want to do comedy and some sketch stuff, and we got to figure something out, man.
Just be creative.
Yeah, we need a large creative space, because my biggest thing that I'm putting to the top of the thing is I want to see if we can figure out a way to live stream concerts over the winter. Otherwise, the bands are just gonna die. They'll never come back.
Well,
they'll break up and they'll be done.
If you're like who just scored that touchdown? That's not your Edmonds guy. Nope, God. Drake. There you go. You didn't get Edmonds.
Thank God. We're watching for anybody that's confused. We got football on in the background, and I'm currently 1 point something points up. No, I'm almost exactly 2 points up in my fantasy game, and all he has is Edmonds, the backup running back, who so far has exactly 0.6 points, which means he's got one reception for 6 yards.
Right.
Let's hope that that's it.
There you go.
I really can't afford him to get anything else unless he fumbles. That'd be great.
Yeah. It's it's sports ball talk.
This is what we do, people. It's a podcast. We do whatever we want.
And we're doing both things.
And if anybody's curious, the Cardinals are up 14-0 in the second quarter. Fucking wild, man.
Yep. Well, let's hope the old Red Rocket starts
fucking
slinging
Zeke
that
fumbled
ball.
it. That's why.
Yep.
Because Zeke fucking fumbled it. Wow. Man, this is shocking. I thought the Cowboys were going to look a lot better. I thought their defense was going to look a lot better. Everything I said was wrong. It shows you what I know.
Well,
I'll hit one game, I'll fucking hit a home run and make every correct prediction on one football game and then look like a moron on the next one. It's just...
no, that's
the NFL for you.
Like we were talking about before, playing daily fantasy sports. You just pick who you like and shuffle it around and hope something sticks. Versus being in like season-long leagues or being just a fan of a team. Like if you're a fan of the Vikings, well, that's not going well for you right now. Being a fan of a team.
My buddy does that daily fantasy shit. I tried it a couple times. I won I think I bet like $5. I won my 5 plus 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, let's try this again. I'll jump into an $8 tournament and then lost it all immediately. Yeah. And I think I was like, oh, fuck it, we'll try it one more time. Let me do a $10 tournament. Lost it immediately.
I just stick to like $1, $2 single entry, small time stuff. I call it
micro betting,
small stakes gambling with high stakes rewards.
There you go.
Because if you win first, you win like $4,000.
Right.
So, and
that's where it's at.
Yeah.
That's the best kind of gambling, dude.
With basketball, I've been more successful at basketball than football because basketball is more you can kind of figure out who's going to get the usage, who's going to get the minutes, who might be the first guy off the bench, like versus football, like, you know, shit, tonight I picked guys who got nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, dude, fantasy sports is different than real sports. Like, you can know a lot about real sports and just shit the bed in fantasy sports and vice versa. Like, I hear a lot of guys running their mouth talking about football, and it's like, dude, you don't know what you're fucking talking about. And then their thing is like, dude, I win the championship in my fantasy league every year. And it's like, cute. So you know how to find players that are going to have good games all season long, but don't act like you know how to fucking coach up an O-line. Like, you're not, dude, get out of here. Get out of here with this bullshit.
That's why I like paying attention to that stuff more, is because it's based on all of the information that you get season long, day to day, all the things that, versus picking a team that's going to be like, this is your team for your fantasy league all year long. Well, all year long doesn't work anymore, especially with all this shit.
That's knows, what intrigues me about the daily fantasy shit.
Who knows who gets like what, you know, last week Melvin Gordon got himself a DUI and then he got sick. And then all of a sudden he's done. Well, then Philip Lindsay was the only other backup running back, and he was like super cheap.
Yep.
So you play him. He did all right, but I don't know. It's boring shit for people who don't like it, but I enjoy it. That's
the beauty of the podcast is we're going to talk about what we want to talk about, and then hopefully people dig it. And the whole point is for people to get to know you more. You know, when you come on and you guys guest like this, like obviously you promote and you plug all your shit that you got going on, but really the intent, especially your first time on, is for people to get to know you. Like, what's this dude about? Because, you know, we put on these, I don't want to say a facade, man, but we put on these, or let me rephrase this. We don't put on anything. We showcase different parts of our personality as musicians when we play live, when we're out in public, right? But there's all these different layers to us. It's not like we're different people behind closed doors, but there's layers to us. We're just normal assholes, right? So whether we're in big bands or we're in local bands, it's the same thing. Like, when you get out there and you start playing this way, you try to subconsciously or consciously you act differently. And yeah, you're right. I mean, sports are not always everyone's fucking favorite thing when they're tuning into a podcast filled with musicians, but at the same time there's a lot of people that are, and there's a lot of people that are going to be like, oh, this dude's way cooler than I thought. I didn't realize we had so much in common, blah 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 blah. So that's why we do this, guys. Like, I'm not going to give every single viewer the interview that of their dreams. You know, some guys are like, man, I really wish you would have dived into like his drumming more and his practice routine. And it's like, I respect that. And maybe I'll try to remember to do that a little bit more next time they're on. But if that's not what you want to talk about, like, and again, that's what most of our conversations are anyways, right? So when guys come on a podcast, they're not always looking to talk about themselves or their practice routines, or, you know, some guys are burnt out on that. They're like, I want to talk sports. I want to talk politics. I want to talk you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's, each one's a little different. And that's why I just fucking, I try to be a little bit better of a listener, but I stopped trying to like interview people. It just doesn't work.
You gotta shoot from the hip.
It just doesn't work, dude.
No.
Fantasy basketball, you mentioned that you've had more success with that.
Yeah.
I can't do fantasy sports outside of football because I know enough of football. I'm such a big fan of football. I know the names of, like, not just the stars. Like, I know a lot about real football. Right. So I can do this in a you know, B- level effort and still be competitive in fantasy football. Dude, I don't know. I don't watch enough baseball, football, or hockey. The amount of players, the way fantasy football is complicated enough. God damn, dude. For basketball, I got to give you guys props for that. That's some real fucking cerebral.
I played basketball, and I still shoot hoops every once in a while. When
you watch basketball?
Yeah. When my knee's not completely jacked from doing my other love of
you still watch football
skateboarding,
or basketball.
Yeah. But yeah, I still watch basketball when it's on. And then UFC. That's my other big one. Really like watching people punch each other in the face. It's one of my favorites. Which this weekend is a huge fight, which is going to be awesome.
I'm torn with the UFC shit, man. Like, so I've been a fan of the idea of the UFC since it first came across my horizon when I was a young kid. Because it's the closest thing to a real fight. Like, I always kind of laughed at.
It's a real fight.
Well, sort of. Like, hear me out. So
I'm gonna hear you out.
So, like, boxing, dude, come on, that's not a real fight. Like, you can only use your hands. That ain't a real fight. Pretty much most martial arts are like that. There's like, oh, no kicks to the head. That's not a real fight. Like, when UFC first came out, there was no rounds.
No,
like
it was just like you go into the cage.
It was a 20-minute fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it was basically a fight to the death.
Yeah,
there was.
I mean, one of the first ones. There was the guy that got a guy in the crucifix position and just wailed him in the balls over and over and over again.
Yeah, there was nut punches
like,
allowed.
Oh my god!
You could wear shoes. Like, some guys wore straight up wrestling shoes.
Yeah, there was the one dude who wore like one boxing glove. Like, what the fuck are you
exactly
doing?
Right? So. Basically, my point is it was the closest thing to a real fight because there was virtually no rules. Now there's, again, and
aside for if I was going to get into a real fight with another guy and he was like, "Hold on a second, I have to put on my one boxing glove."
You know what I mean, though, right?
Yeah, I know, but that would be hilarious.
So now it's still the closest sport to a real fight, but again, now you have rounds, now you have a lot of rules and regulations, and it's like in a real fight. All bets are off.
Yeah.
It's all on the table. There is no breaks. There is no coaching in the corner.
Well, right.
But my point is,
in a real fight, you're also fighting for your life versus this is fighting for sport. So
True.
You have to have some regulations to keep the
you
fighters.
got me there. Yeah. But and all I'm going is like, it's still the closest sport to a real fight. It's still hands down.
100%.
Over everything else. And it was more so back then. That's all I was really trying to say with that. But my point is that that's why I liked it. And that's why I was intrigued, because from a sports standpoint, I was like, this is the closest thing to a real fight. So if we're going to start talking about who's the greatest fighters of all time, this sport is going to be the one that can decide it, because you can have a boxer versus a kickboxer. Remember, it was true mixed martial arts back then. Now these guys are so well versed, like, in everything, that you still have a specialist like a Khabib who's going to bring you to the ground, and you still have a traditional southpaw boxer in McGregor, but both of them can still do both
pretty
damn well. And so you're getting into matchup theory there, and it's brilliant. I still love the sport.
Yeah.
My problem is why I'm torn on it is because, like, man, the savagery and the just brutality of it, sometimes I feel bad. I feel like we're watching like gladiators, and it's like we shouldn't find it all. Sometimes, not always, sometimes it bothers me that I find such enjoyment out of watching another person get hurt like that. Like, it fucks with me. And sometimes it doesn't matter. Like, man, I remember I went and watched the DC Stipe fight.
Yeah.
When Stipe took the crown back with that fucking body blow.
Oh, the liver shots were beautiful.
Man, that was such a good fight. See, like now I'm into it, right?
Yeah.
But then sometimes, man, I watch these fights and I'm like, this fucked up. We shouldn't be watching this. Like, this should be like Caesar made this shit illegal for a reason, yo.
Some of those guys. Some of those guys,
I think it was Caesar.
They think they're ready for the fucking big time, and they turns out
who's
they're not.
This weekend?
This is Khabib and Justin Gaethje.
This isn't even the one I'm looking forward to.
God,
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, but the one I'm really looking forward to is what's his name? He just won. He just destroyed that one dude.
He just destroyed that one dude. There's a lot of those.
Style Bender. What's his real name? What's his real name?
Israel Adesanya.
Adesanya, that guy.
Yeah.
Who's he scheduled to go up to against next? Is it Khabib or Gaethje, the winner of this next match?
No, because that's a different weight class. He's gonna go and fight. I think he's gonna go back and fight the winner of the other fight that's on this card, which is Jared Cannonier and oh God, what's the Australian's name? Can't think.
I can't remember.
He's the other. Crap, I can't remember. Now you made me think of
See
names.
This is Jamie. Pull that up.
Yeah, hold on a second. Robert Whittaker. There it is. So I think he will fight whoever wins that fight.
No, fuck. Who am I thinking?
More
than
than
it's not because it's not that fight either. It's not that fight either. I'm tripping. I'm tired, you guys. I've had a long couple of days.
I just want the Diaz brothers to come back and fight. They're my favorites.
I'd like to see them fight each other.
That would actually be pretty funny.
It'd never happen. They would never do it. They're like, we wouldn't make enough money.
Oh, they'd make a shit ton of money.
But
you kidding me?
You know what I mean?
They actually
like,
book that shit. Oh yeah, that'd
be great. But you know what I mean though, because they're looking at it like, no, they're looking at it probably like Diaz on a ticket, Diaz on a second ticket. That's more money than both Diaz on one ticket. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because they can spread because usually most people are a fan of both brothers. So if they get them on two different pay-per-views or two different matches, like they can increase the draw. But it's like this. It's like if you and I book a show together and we have the same 200 fans, we're still only playing to 200 people.
Correct.
That's what I'm thinking. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah.
From the outside, not knowing a goddamn thing about how the business actually works in the UFC.
Yeah, who knows?
That would be my first instinct. Is I'd be like, why? We're cutting our draw in half. Like we could double our draw, by splitting us and never fighting each other. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're 100%. Maybe that would be the biggest fucking UFC ticket since McGregor.
It would be ridiculous.
Khabib.
Yeah. Well, that one the biggest? I don't know if that was the
you know who
biggest.
it is? You know who it is? It's
I think
Adesanya versus John Jones. That's the one that's supposed to be happening soon. And that one I'm excited for because I think
it does,
if anybody's gonna beat John Jones pure, it's going to be Adesanya.
Well, I think Dominic Reyes beat him the last time, but that's my personal opinion.
Right. That's why I said pure.
Yeah.
Like undisputed. Like who's going to knock him out or put him in a submission?
Yeah.
Who's going to do it? If it's going to be anybody, it's definitely not DC. We found that out.
No.
3 consecutive times or twice or whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, they talked about Stipe. Oh, that's a big pass. Who's that?
Oh, we got it.
Is that Kirk? Oh, that's Kirk. That's a big.
Is that your guy?
I got him in one of my lineups.
Nice. Good for you, man. So far, so good. Edmonds is still sitting at 0.6 points.
80-yard touchdown. Yeah, holy shit, 20-0.
This is actually not good for me though, because if they keep going up like this and they go into garbage time and they decide to run the ball and pull Drake and give all the carries to Edmonds,
they won't, because if they go into garbage time, I'm guessing they got a third string running back. I don't know who that is, but I'm guessing if it goes to full garbage time, they just bring out all the fun guys that you don't know who their name is.
the guys that probably should actually be on the practice squad.
Yeah, exactly.
But managed to sniff their way onto the roster.
Yeah, they bring out the water guy. They're like, slap this jersey on, run.
So are you working with anybody cool on like graphic shit? Is there anybody you're super excited for? Anybody you're designing for?
Well, Coffin writes Will's band, who are just supreme shredders. I'm doing their new CD design, which I have it all kind of laid out, but they're in the process of recording. And then I don't know what else I got on my plate. I got a friend that is in the CBD and THC game out in the
because you don't just do bands and musicians.
No, I do everything.
Yeah,
I can make you a death metal logo, and I can make you a logo for your bakery that makes cupcakes. But that's what I enjoy. I enjoy the branding aspect of things. Like, everything you look at has a brand. It has a like visual, like, boom, punch you in the face. Like, every time you see a Mountain Dew logo, you're like, oh, that's Mountain Dew.
Yep.
Because you know it. Every time you see the golden arches of McDonald's, you're like, oh, yeah, I know it's McDonald's.
Yep.
I like making that sort of thing, like making something nice, crisp, clean, that people can look at and go, oh, boom, I know what that is.
It's so funny. So my logo for the podcast, because the timing and everything we talked about earlier, I knew I couldn't afford you, so I didn't even pick up the phone.
Right.
I fucking found this website and went and did it for $2.99. That's what I did the logo for. So like, people have given me a lot of compliments about it. Actually, they're like, "Dude, I really like the podcast logo." I'm like, "Thanks, man," but it's not good branding. It's literally the coolest thing I could find on that website, and then it ended up being $2.99. I could have paid $19.99 for it. It wasn't even about like the dollar amount. I didn't know how much it was going to cost going into it. I actually thought it was going to be free, because I looked for a free site for that kind of shit.
Right.
And then once I paid it, I don't know what it was that cost me $2.99, because I went to go make something else, and they wanted to charge me $80 for it, and I don't remember what I wanted to make. But I was like, what the fuck? So basically, I just took this one and rescaled it for something else. And I don't even remember what it was for. But is what I'm curious is, how does the business side of your deal work? Like, how do you charge per hour? Do you charge for the project? Like, how does that shit work? The whole thing's super. Is it like a photographer?
No. It's tough. I'm still working out the gist of what I should and shouldn't charge people. But it's tough. Like, sometimes you get somebody who you can do something for, and you can be like, bam, it's really quick. But it's still, if you could do it, then you wouldn't be asking me to do it.
Right.
If you could come up with the idea, then you wouldn't be asking someone else to come up with the idea.
Right.
But I've worked.
That could be talent. That could be time. That could be resources.
It's a lot of things. But
I used to make my own shit, but when I hit you up, I didn't have a computer, and even if I did have a computer, I didn't have the fucking time.
Yeah.
And even if I did have the time, I didn't have the talent anymore. And even if I had those first three things, I still didn't have the goddamn program, a real program. So again, it goes back to resources. Like, it's not an option for me to get I can pull one off as a temporary thing for the website or for the podcast, right? Because I can always redo that down the road. It's not that big of a deal. But when it comes to my band, I'm not doing a $2.99 logo. I'm coming to a pro.
Well, it's really hard because
that's my branding for life.
I guess it's interesting that now it's coming around that like artists are almost the same as like bands in general. Like there's good ones, but there's a lot of bad ones.
Oh yeah.
And and it's the market is flooded on all sides. So you got to I don't know. If you like what I do, awesome. If you don't.
So are you on like Fiverr?
No, I tried some of that shit and that was a bunch of bullshit.
Really?
I actually ended up it sucks. It's really, really dumb. Like you sit there and you spend a bunch of time doing a design and then you upload it and it's like a contest. Like you're playing a contest with other people who are doing designs, and then you have somebody on the other end of it who you don't communicate with. They just give you an overall gist of what they want, and you do something based on that. So you have no interaction with that person. And then you spend hours doing shit, and then all of a sudden you didn't win. They like somebody else's design.
Oh, so you don't have to pay for it up front?
No.
I thought I had to pay up front, which is why I never commissioned anyone through Fiverr, because I was looking at everything and I was like, I want this dude, or this dude. And then I looked at their prices and what I wanted, and I was like, oh, it's still going to cost me a lot.
I don't know.
These guys are that good.
I've never been on the back end of that. On their end, they put up, I want to spend $100 on a logo.
Right.
And this is, my company name is Pete's Pet Shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I like dogs. So that's what they give you for the information.
Oh,
and then
I see what you're saying. Because so yeah, my experience, they must have a second version of it or a second way you can do it. Because for me, I didn't create a profile and put up there, this is what I'm looking for, and then have people send me their ideas.
Sure.
No, it was you as an artist have a profile up with examples of things you've done, and you put your prices up there and tell me, here's what you get for this, here's what you get for this, here's what you get for this. And it was like, for $5, I'll create a 2-color logo in this with this type of quality.
Sure.
And it'll just be a JPEG for like your high school band on a t-shirt or whatever. But then like the next level was like, okay, I'll create you unlimited color ping format so you can rescale it. And then like, I think it was called a vortex image back then or whatever. And vector. Then vector image. Yep. Yeah. And then like for the third tier, it was like, and then I'll create a 3D moving version of it where it like, it's a GIF basically, and like it's the same thing. And then I would have had to pay you. I would have had to hit submit and then fill out a thing. But then as a consumer, I was like, but I want to talk to this person. I want to like communicate and go, hey man, here's what I'm thinking. Because one dude had a logo for another company where I was like, honestly, I just want you to take that exact same thing, the center of it, all that other shit around it that makes it his logo. Get rid of all that. That one image right there, just redo that. So if you've got a drawing somewhere, like that's all I want. That's the logo right there. It was a microphone, one of those old school 1950s microphones.
Right.
And I was like, I want that microphone with just a circle image around it. And then in that circle, I want like almost like you punched out the letters. So you're like looking through almost like this.
Yeah.
And then the name would have been on the outside of it going around.
Right.
But I couldn't reach out to him. I couldn't get anything like that unless I commissioned him and paid him first. So even me as a customer, I was like, Fiverr's bullshit. I ain't doing that. But people keep recommending it to me. They're like, go check out Fiverr, dude. It's great. I've used it many times.
Don't do that.
I'm like, I don't know, man.
That's like saying just order some shit on the internet. You'll
like
see
saying,
whatever you get.
It's like you don't need a DJ. Just get your nephew to play just put his iTunes on shuffle.
Yeah, it's
for your wedding.
It's shitty, but that's the That just is so happens to be the business that I'm in. That I don't know. I do stuff that I do, and if people like it, then frickin' ask me to do whatever. Like I said, Eric Keys was just on here.
Yeah, Kai's. We got to fix that. Yep, okay. We're fixing that now on this podcast.
Well, he never told me his name was Kai's.
I called him Keys on the podcast.
Oh,
I called him Keys on the podcast. He goes, "It's actually Kai's." I was like, "Oh, God damn it!"
So that's where we got into all this, and then Lonic,
yep,
got into all that pronunciation of people's last names.
If I've done one effective thing on this podcast, it's educated the local industry. Well, approximately 1,000 people.
Yeah,
because even though I only have 100 subs, I mean the fucking videos get 100 views each. Like I looked at the channel, like there's probably 1,000 people here locally that learned how to pronounce 8 people's names correctly. So if we're doing one thing,
we're really helping out that pronunciation.
I wanted to ask you another thing about this. Is it just logo and shit design, or do you do like web design as well?
I don't do any web design.
Even like the art side of it. So I can the beauty side of it. Can you get into a website and make it look good?
I can't get into the website and make it look good, but being around for long enough, I know plenty of other people that can do that sort of business.
That's the last piece to my puzzle. I got my boy working on the site for the function side. He's like, but I'm not as a designer. You still need to find somebody to make this look good. I'm like, all right. But so the site will be, the bones will be there. I just need somebody to slap the skin. Well, the skin's actually there too. I just need somebody to tweak it, put up the pics, move shit around, make it look good.
But that's the whole thing. If you have okay, it's just like that. If you have like web designer friends, okay, I got a web designer friend. But then also there's all these places that you can go and just plop your shit in.
Yeah,
and now you got a web page, Squarespace, all that stuff, which is
fine
good
to
and
start
clean.
with the template. Yeah. Like, and that's what I think mine's on WordPress or something like that. We started with a simple template. That's fine. But I do not have the fucking intellectual bandwidth to sit down at a computer and learn how to make my site look good.
But like, that's the whole thing. Okay.
It's a different art,
I don't do I don't make a website, but if you have like a template that you like and you're doing it somewhere else and you're just like, I want to put this up. I need a graphic that fits this space. I need graphics that fit this space. I want pictures that fit these spaces. I understand all that information. I just don't know how to bloop HTML it up there.
Right.
But all these other places, if you have, and really, you know, who knows different when it comes to, it's a Squarespace template.
Right.
Okay, great. Well, who cares? Is your product good? Do you have a good logo that goes in those said spaces that they're giving you?
Right.
Then what does it matter?
Yeah, as long as it functions, that's the biggest thing. As long as it's easy to navigate, user friendly, it makes sense, it flows well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you're a bass player, you're a true bassist. I've known you for a long time. You're a true bassist. Do you play guitar as well?
I can play some guitar and drums and
But
I started off playing saxophone.
Right. But if I was like, hey, dude, I need you to come fill in on guitar for me on this project right now, you'd be like,
yeah.
I mean, if you need a bass player, I'm down.
Is it doom metal?
Right?
Can I do some real sludgy stuff?
You know what I mean? And it's like, no, this is what it is. Hear the music, and you're like, dude, no, I'm not a guitar player. Like, I can play guitar. Like, yeah, you want to do some doom sludgy stuff? You want to go do some like fucking 3-chord rock and roll? Like, sure, I can pull it off.
Yeah,
that's me in this world. Like, and because everyone's out, dude, you can just do it yourself. And I'm like, no, dude. Like, because I can do it doesn't mean I should.
But really, you're going down the same road as art, band, all that stuff by doing the podcast. You're going with you're jumping into a medium that lots of people are doing.
True.
What
am I sticking to? I'm sticking to the performing side of it, the entertainment side of it, because that's what I know. That's what I'm good at. Like, I admit I need a producer because I'm not a fucking producer. I'm not a sound producer. I'm not an audio engineer. I'm not a fucking video producer. But I'm able to pull it off for now because I have a background in this industry. Doesn't mean I should be doing it in the long run, which I won't be.
Yeah.
So going back to where I started with this, that's why I reach out to guys like you, and I don't try to do everything myself, because it's just, I get it. You're being resourceful. You're not depending on others. But dude, at the end of the day, you're also like,
oh, Cowboys get 3 and a fight.
It's also literally impossible for you to be great at everything.
Yeah. I mean,
so stick to your guns. Find out what you're good at.
I think you should find out what you're good at and stick to what you're good at and try and be great at that.
And then build a good team around you to shore up all your weaknesses.
Right.
That's my philosophy. That's what I'm trying to do. So I need, like I said, I need a web designer. I got the guy who's going to build it, but I need somebody who can make it look good and flow well and like stuff like that. And then budget's always a concern too.
But then on top of that is like you got to look at how many people are actually going to websites and spending mass quantities of time on those websites, aside from your Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff.
Well,
so like,
I'd say,
what's the,
to strictly answer your question, I'd say none. But
yeah,
but on a more broad scope, it's the function of the website.
It looks more professional.
Well, and for me,
and it's more professional in general.
For me, it's supposed to be a hub. So,
well, yeah, for you to house all the podcasts and all the stuff you deleted earlier.
Yep. The 30 episodes I deleted off the hard drive. But then also the music, and then if I do follow through with the comedy thing like I had planned, I can put shit up there. And then when I need to sell tickets or merchandise, I can sell it there. It's a hub and it's a constant, because before the podcast, when we were hanging out, we talked about the MySpace thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, if your shit is only on this social media site, first of all, you're depending on your users to get to that social media site. Second of all, you're trusting that social media site to stay up. Okay? Like a MySpace, they lost everybody's music. And third, you're depending on it to stay relevant. Again, reference MySpace. Nobody's on it anymore. Literally, we moved on to Facebook, and then Facebook changed. So then people moved on to Twitter, and then now there's 3 or 4 of them. So I believe the future is going to come back to like, have a fucking real website, have a fucking real goddamn website, especially if you want to have a real podcast, because you have to host it from somewhere. So iTunes, I need to either pay another company X amount of dollars per month to store X amount of data, so I can have fuck that. Get a fucking website.
I wanted to go back to newspapers and hand-to-hand flyers passed out. That's what I wanted to go back to. I'm so fucking tired of all internet interaction with Facebook, Instagram, all that shit.
It lacks texture.
Well, I've said it for a long time, and Cattle Decapitation, one of my favorite new metal bands. Not new metal with the N-U.
They're not even new either.
No, they're not new. But, well, they're new to a lot of people. But that's because their last 3 albums have been amazing. But they've touched on it many times. But technology surpassing humanity. Like, you don't have interaction with people anymore. Like, everybody's like, come to my show. I press the button, and then 75 people press the button. Yep, I'm going to your show. 20 of those people will actually go to the show,
if that.
So it's just,
I think that's a great point, because we used to run numbers on flyers.
Oh yeah,
something like 2% of your flyered audience will actually show up.
All right, and I when I moved to Minneapolis, I started working at Kinko's when it was actually still Kinko's, not FedEx Kinko's. It was just straight Kinko's. That's where I started working. That's where I actually met Tom. And
I used to print so many flyers down at Kinko's.
And then
the one down by Lund's or whatever it was, or Whole Foods or Byerly's or whatever.
Where at? In Edina?
No, in fucking, it's like Uptown or some shit.
Oh, I worked at the one in Edina.
Oh.
Super fancy.
Yeah, I was.
You know how well I went over there as me in Edina. It was pretty cool.
I bet a lot of moms went home and masturbated after they went and
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
picked up their shit at Kinko's.
I don't know
That's what
about
I'd
that.
bet my money on, dude. Those fucking Edina housewives are down there with their lawyer. fucking,
You might have went a bit far on that statement.
they
there,
look
sir.
no. They went home and they looked at their fucking husbands and they were like, God, I wonder what it would have been like if I would have just stayed with Jake. His band was so cool. He used to fuck me like a whore.
Jesus Christ.
And now I gotta sit with this missionary position bullshit lawyer. I don't care if he makes $500,000. This sucks. And then they took a hot bubble bath and thought of that beard while they fucking rubbed one out in their tub. That's what I think happened from your time at
I
Kinko's.
don't at all, but yeah.
You looking like a rock star down there spawned a lot of orgasms in hot tubs in Edina.
I don't know about that.
I love how uncomfortable you're getting.
It's a bit uncomfortable, yeah.
I love it. It's my favorite podcast I've done so far. Oh, it's fucking great, man.
But yeah, making flyers.
Yeah,
Yeah, back to that
that old trope.
No, I've actually a couple shows that we had when we could still have shows. I passed out flyers to people, and I actually had a few people, and some were in bands that were much younger, and they took the piece of paper and they looked at it and they said, "What's this?" And I said, "That's when our next show is." And they were like, "What?" They it's like they didn't even know what a flyer actually was.
That sounds insane, but I
it
can
is.
totally buy it.
It's totally insane.
But
And
it also makes sense, though.
I looked at the guy and I was like, "It's a flyer." Like, you remember when you actually went around and put up posters at record shops?
No, he doesn't.
And you actually went to shows and gave people flyers.
That's the point. No, that kid doesn't remember that.
Right.
Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Whoops.
We got a choker.
Breathe down the wrong tube. Jesus. Yeah, dude. I don't think the numbers would be different now if you actually went and did it. 2% of your flyered audience will show up to a show. So if you pass out 5,000 flyers, you're guaranteed 200 people to show up to your show. That's what it was. People need to understand, like, to go back to what you were talking about, the so let's just hypothetically use some numbers that we actually used to look at. So back in like the MySpace or early Facebook days, you'd send out all these invites to your show on Facebook, and there'd be 500 invites you'd send out. 350 of them would RSVP that they're coming, and then maybe 50 would actually show up. Whatever that percentage is, you can track that over a long period of time and find some reliability in that number. Well, where I'm going with this is, if you realize that where a lot of bands failed was only doing that and ditching the flyering altogether, I think it would not be a bad idea if we started implementing real flyering again, real word of mouth promo, going to shows, doing that like we used to, embracing the technology of the Facebooks, learning how to manipulate the algorithms on Twitter to get your shit out there, and treating it like a real company, where there's this rule in mass advertising. It's called 8 touches. Okay?
Yeah.
A touch is an exposure via some form of media. So by the time Best Buy gets you to go buy that TV from Best Buy, they've touched you 8 times with a commercial on TV, with a radio, with an internet ad, with a newspaper ad, with a billboard. Maybe they repeated a couple of those over a few weeks.
Yeah.
It approximately takes 8 touches in order to get somebody to bite on your advertising. So if we look at that concept when it comes to promoting our bands and shows and stuff, and we're talking some real grassroots level. So if you guys are struggling to get people out to shows, this is something you should be thinking about. if you're sending out 500 invites, understand not all 500 people are coming. If you're sending out 500 invites on Facebook and expecting word of mouth to just spread, might do it, but it's usually going to take a very long time. You got to get your ass out there and hustle.
Well,
I think we need to start doing the paper flyers again. I think that's a huge part of it. Like I said,
I think
5,000 sounds like a lot, but go to a fucking Metallica show and that'll be gone in 5 minutes.
You do that, and yes, I think flyering is just more personable. And if you're actually doing it, and then they see you, like, I would rather get those people to come to the show. But like you said, with all the other stuff, yes, all that's fine and dandy. But like I said before, we're oversaturated as a market. And so now you have online, just anywhere.
Because there's not an oversaturation of rock bands in Minneapolis right now.
There's not an there's an oversaturation of, like, metal bands in Minneapolis.
Is there?
There's a shit ton. That's my personal opinion. There's
I'll take your word for it.
There's fucking bands all over the place. And now what's going to happen when clubs actually open up? Who's going to be the promoter? Who do you get in contact with?
Who's going to be willing to go?
How is the person who I contact? Who is the person that I contact to play that show and get into that club? They don't know that I've been doing this for fucking 20 years.
That's what pissed me off.
So it's like, you know, I put out, and I think that I put out professional product with my band and with Jeff and with Brad, or with Jeff and with Tony. What we put out, professional product, and, you know, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, cool. If I'm not overdoing myself to get people to come to a show and just go like balls to the wall, because I think that once everything is open, just like once everything was open before, every other club around the town has a fucking show that night, and you're playing for fucking 40 people.
Well, right, but that's because people don't even know who. Like you say, there's this oversaturation of metal bands, and I'm thinking, who? Like, I can't think of one off the top of my head that draws. So when we say
because that's what I'm saying. There's an oversaturation because there's not a draw. Like, there's too many, and everybody's doing a show.
But I don't think we're limited to fans. Like we're not at a competition for fans. Like, you can draw 400 people in Maplewood at the Doghouse,
not
and
anymore.
I can draw bullshit, and I can draw 400 people at the Caboose. We can do that. It's not that hard. The problem is there's not enough bands that know how to get 400 people out. We all know the same 400 people, so we're trying to fight for the same 400 people, which means we're not getting exposure to new fans. We're not building a fan base. We're trying to siphon the fan base that's already there. That's not how. Nobody's going to succeed with that.
And I believe that's what's happening, like, all over.
You're probably right.
Constant push and pull of what show am I going to go to tonight? Who, you know, these guys are playing over here, these guys are playing over here, and it's all spread out. And then on top of it, some people, which has really changed, is everything's fucking online. You know, well, I can just watch the live video that somebody posted, and gets less people to go to shows because they just sit at home and
but here's the thing: is there's a way around it. Like certain bands still draw. Like, the hip hop community is doing great. Like, I'm not talking about in a COVID world, but like before COVID shit, like the hip hop kids were absolutely 100% killing it in the fan department. Like, their shows are packed all the time, all over the place. And it's not because it's hip hop and it's popular, because they don't sound like popular hip hop. They're doing their own thing here. They figured out a way to market, and they figured out a way to get people to shows. And we used to have that with the leadership and some of the people in our town, with the bookers, with the managers, with the club owners. And we lost that leadership. And as musicians, like, you're one of the few people that I talk about flyering. Like you said, man, most people don't even know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dude, there used to be a game plan that everyone knew how to do when you and I came into the scene, and we were the young kids in the industry, and it was easy to figure out if you want to draw, if you want to get 500 to 1,000 people there to see your band, this is what you do.
Yeah.
You do X, Y, and Z. And then between all of those people dropping out of the industry, and then like you said, with technology and everything moving on Facebook, that information got lost. And you've seen a subsequent drop in concert attendance for rock bands and metal bands, but you didn't see it for hip hop. They figured it out. They adapted. We didn't. And that's what I'm getting at. That's what's frustrating me.
Maybe they're a closer community.
I mean, I definitely think that not only are they more present and more savvy online, but I also think that they're getting out there and promoting and doing shit word of mouth. They're passing out mixtapes and mixed CDs,
maybe a
and
little more of
cards, and
maybe a little more of a party than going to a metal show too, or a rock show.
Remember the Midwest movement? They used to put out sampler CDs.
Yeah.
When's the last time you seen a local sampler CD of the rock and metal scene? Never.
Will did I did the artwork for the second one.
Okay.
It was a zero budget records one, but it had more than just zero budget bands on there.
Right.
And they were...
Was it all metal?
Double
or was
CDs.
there like rock?
No, he had a wide mix of stuff.
We need more of that. That's what I'm saying. And we just talked about Will on the last podcast. And the point is like we need more Wills. We need more people Will doing shit.
Yeah.
And you could be a huge part of that, but again, the problem is because you have a service you can provide that people need, which is like quality logo design, so they're not going up there with something shitty that their aunt drew because you know what I mean. Like,
and there's a lot of people that go and
but then these guys don't have money, so
they go and put out a CD and they're like, I got my logo. They slap that on the front, but it's all about to me. It's not about. It's about quality, and it's about like putting something together that is
the branding.
Something different than this one. So these I made, and that was just like I bought a box of 1,000 plastic sleeves from Uline. Ready? I'm going to teach you the art of making something simple but professional. Bought that, and then you just do a nice simple fold over. This one I did when I worked at Design Place. So I have it cut so the thumbs hold the CD in.
Sick.
Yeah. But
hold on, pull that out and unfold that so people can see the whole thing.
Yeah. So that's simple. But I mean, this is going to cost you more, obviously, but I worked at places that could cut and do things like that.
Let me see that.
But if you want to do things like that, I know how to do that.
They're actual thumbs. I don't know if you guys can see that on
That's why
there.
it's called Design Solutions, because I have solutions for that. This one, super simple. It's just a sleeve. You can get a box of 1,000 of these sleeves for like under $100.
See, this is the difference between just a logo and then branding. Like this is a package that.
And then you can get, you can do this on just plain paper. Have a nice design. Fold it in half. Color on the front side, black and white on the inside.
See, I like that idea a lot because then you can put lyrics in there. You can fucking.
Well, you could have done that. You could have done it with that one too.
Yeah, but like you said, it's going to be more expensive because you already got the flavored
Okay,
thumbs.
you can get what? You can get 100 color printed CDs at Copycats. I've been doing all my stuff with Copycats. They're super top
trying
notch.
To get one of the dudes from Copycats on the podcast. But
who,
now,
Justin?
I can't. I think it is Justin. He's coming through a referral, but
he's the main guy.
He
used to play in Smiling Liar.
It might be Justin then. Yeah. It's coming through a referral. Somebody was trying to get me to get him on. I was like, yeah, reach out for me. But
like you can do.
But these are dead now. This medium is dead, right? So if you're going to even spend money on CDs,
it's dead. It's dead to a lot of people, but it's not dead to people who enjoy artwork. And
but here's the thing, though, man, is you gotta like as a band, you have to make this worth buying. Meaning, it can't just be your music anymore.
Yeah,
There's
that's
got to
why
be something significant about this, like make them a limited edition run. You can only get them at shows.
that's
On
why
this hard copy, there's extra tracks, right? Like
all the hard copy stuff we pretty much just sell at shows.
yeah,
and
it's got to be something special. Though.
Yeah, we just you got to make it look cool. If it looks like dog shit, nobody's gonna buy it.
Here's another great example. So that's Glenn Wadey's band.
Yeah.
It's a rock band. They did that's a limited edition colored vinyl.
Yeah,
And
everybody's doing vinyl.
And then if you buy that, though, there's a digital download card in there.
Yeah.
So you still get access to the music.
Yeah. I've got plenty of albums where you get that, and it comes with the CD and the digital download card. Like,
there you
can do all that shit. But do you know how much it costs to press vinyl?
I mean, it's not cheap.
Not fucking cheap at all.
But here's the thing: is that's such a sought after thing because there's something tangible and novelty almost.
Right.
That people will pay $25, $30 for that, right?
Yeah.
Or even $50 or $100, depending on the fan base of your band. This, for most bands who are new and brand new starting out, this should probably not be what we used to try to do. And you mentioned this before in the beginning of the podcast. This probably shouldn't be 10 fucking songs, right? It probably shouldn't cost you 10 grand anymore. This should probably be a really good 3-song demo that sounds great as basically a promo to get people into your band.
Well, yeah.
And I think the business is now changing that if you're trying to make money selling CDs and selling your music or getting paid off of streams, that's short-sighted, man. I think we got to go back
if
to
you want to do that,
merch, touring, playing shows, that's where you're going to get paid.
Yeah. I've been doing it for this long, never been into getting paid.
Yeah.
I usually pay more in my bar tab at the end of the night than the band gets paid.
I hate to bring
the
it
whole
to you,
thing,
but that's not a very good business model.
Yeah, I'm not in the business of making money. I'm in the business of making things that I'm happy about. And
on the music side of things.
On the music side of things, and
but you wouldn't run your design company that way.
No, of course not.
This is my point. Is not everybody.
But we're talking about the music side of things.
But this is the thing: is it's still the music business, and most of us are trying to get paid, and a lot of people are lost and fucking losing. Like I know a lot of dudes who made a living off playing music, even original music, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
and now they're and I'm talking again, not necessarily COVID related. They're struggling,
but 10, 15
they haven't pivoted and figured out that this is no longer going to make you money. This is basically promo. Your music is free now, essentially.
But 10, 15 years ago, I think the quantity of bands was different. Quality of bands is different.
That's debatable.
The quality of the recording devices that people have now that can just make shit at home and it sounds fucking top notch if you take the time to know how to do it. I think that's changing the game too.
Yeah, but none of those things are preventing music or success of music. It's just offering more people the ability to do it.
But I think they are because there's more quantity. And people have a shorter attention span.
Yeah, but dude,
people have a way shorter attention span.
Dude, there's more people than there ever was. There's 8 billion people on the planet now, dude. There's 330 million Americans. And again, it's not like you can only have one favorite band. The one thing that, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but those are all debatable variables. The one thing that is a constant, easy, measurable metric is the business has changed. The way consumers are paying for music has changed with the streaming services. So that's what I'm getting at, right? Because when the album sales tanked, now our business in the music industry much more closely resembles the like 50s and 60s, right? Where you're not making money off the records as the artist. The label is making money, right? You made your money off playing shows and gigs and being paid to come appear places and things like that. And then with Led Zeppelin through the 70s, 80s, And then even through the 90s, artists made a lot of money on record sales. And in fact, I had heard from a lot of places and a lot of people in the industry, other than your Van Halens and your your superstars, a lot of motherfuckers didn't play or didn't get paid a lot of money to play shows. You looked at your shows as promo, so people would go buy your record. You toured to promote the record.
All right.
I'm thinking that's flipping around now. Now you put out records for a reason to tour. And so people come to your show.
Well, that's 100%.
And then
right.
you make more money off your shows now and sell merch. But this isn't, it sounds common sense. And you're saying it's 100% right. But we're not seeing actionable change in how musicians are approaching the business. And I think the ones we are seeing are the ones that are succeeding, whether their music is good or not. Does that make sense?
But I think I guess to base that off of like big band theory, you know, you have the larger bands that, yes, they make most of their money on actually playing shows. So the big bands are, yeah, they're probably, you know, not doing a great job right now. But the other thing with them making that money at shows with ticket sales and merch, you have the venues that are now, they're taking a cut of your merch.
Yeah, fuck that.
So there's tons of, like, you go and play, you know, like Mastodon comes in, plays the Armory. They sell a t-shirt. That's why t-shirts now cost fucking $35 for a fucking shirt. I know how much it costs to print a shirt. I know if there's 3 colors, 4 colors, how the screen was done. That's my business. That's what I know.
There's the quality of the shirt as well.
I know the brand of the shirt. I know the cost of the brand of a shirt. I know how much of a cut of the shirt cost comes down when you're ordering 1,000 of them.
Right.
You know,
or
you're ordering
20,000.
Yeah, you're ordering how many thousands of shirts, and you're doing that much of a run. Those shirts cost the bands like anywhere between at those larger bands. Probably those shirts are costing them somewhere between, I don't know. Depends on the size, how many order. But I would say
$4.
Between $4 to $6,
right,
depending on colors, how much is on the front, back, and all that stuff. And you're selling them for $30. The reason you're selling them for $30 now is because the club that you're playing at is taking 25% off the top of your merch sales.
On the larger band side, I don't think that. I think it's because their fucking costs have skyrocketed and they have to increase the cost of their merch because they're not making as much money off their records, the streams, as they would have off sales back in the day, right? So, like, let's say back in the day you were making $12 million a year off record sales, you could afford a $3 million a year crew. And you could sell a $20 t-shirt. Well, now you're making $1 million a year off of streams. Your crew is still $3 million, right? So now your streams don't cover anything. You're actually negative $2 million. You got to increase everything else. So ticket prices have gone up, merch prices have gone up, so on and so forth. On the smaller side, right? Let's say you and I order 100 t-shirts. It's a 2-color. Blah, blah, blah. So we're still at that $4 mark, right? We're selling the t-shirts for $10. We can get away with that on a $6 profit or a $15 shirt or a $20 shirt. So maximum $16 profit because we don't have a fucking crew to pay, right? Yeah. So those margins are huge. But again, for anybody that's confused, we're not selling 500 to 1,000 at every show because we're playing in front of 18,000. No. We're selling 10 at best. You know what I mean? Like, because you're playing in front of 1,000 people and you're still an unknown band. And like, I'm really into your band and I'll go buy your CD back in the day for $5, but I'm not going to spend $12 on a t-shirt. That's, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
So,
well, I don't know.
That's where it gets sketchy. Like,
yeah, but I'm still, I guess, a purist of, and that's, I guess what we're getting at is there's probably not a lot of those out there.
Yeah, you're a dying breed.
Yeah, totally.
You're a dying breed.
I don't order shit on the internet. I actually go to record stores to try and buy it, except for now I can't. But yeah, I go out and find it and buy it and hold the physical copy. I enjoy the artwork. I enjoy the layout. I enjoy cracking open the plastic and smelling the inside of it, and how the printing. I mean, it's nerdy as hell, but it's the same. It's the same thing with your baseball cards and football cards and stuff like that. I collected all that shit too. Opening a pack of baseball cards, opening a pack of early 90s Upper Deck freaking basketball cards. They had a different smell than fucking Tops and Donruss.
They did. They smelled different.
They smelled richer, but they were worth more. But I enjoy all of that stuff, and that's just, I guess,
one of them stunk. I remember that one of those brands.
There was a few of them.
They smelled bad.
Yeah, but that's what I dig, and that's why I care to put out quality product when you're going to hold it in your hand. I want to put out quality, what I think is quality, when you put it in your ear. And if you like it, super awesome. If you don't, I don't care. I'm not here to make money on it.
Right.
Don't give a shit. So I get all the money talk, and I get all the different arguments on all that stuff and how to get people to your shows. I'm still down to, if I'm going to go to a show, I'm going to go to a show because I like the bands that are playing. I'm past when we started doing this. I'm past going to shows just because there's going to be some people there and I can pass out flyers. No, I need to go because there's going to be a band that I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, there's so many bands, and now there's nowhere to go see them. But
right, all our conversations have to be amended.
They're all amended, but
with COVID.
But I mean, like I said, I'm gonna be 42 this year. I have 2 children, and I got a lot of shit to do. So if you really are mad that I'm not coming out to your show, and you're really gonna be butthurt about it and be mad at me, you can fucking get bent.
See, and when I
don't care.
When I think about that, my thing is, then your band's not good enough. Because if your band was really that good and people really wanted to see you live, then they would make time. They would know your show's coming. They would book it. They would get a sitter. It would be their night out for the week or for the month.
Yeah, but that's not that can't be the case in everybody's life.
Get better.
There's too much shit to do.
Then get better. Because that's the only thing you're competing for is time. You're not competing for fans. There's more listeners than you'll ever have your music exposed to. You're competing for people's time.
Right. You are competing for people's time completely.
That's the competition, and that's a fan competition, not
and that goes back to
inner band competition.
That goes to back to internet and all that stuff. You're competing for people's time, which everybody nowadays has a shorter attention for time in general. They're like, oh, this is cool. This is why everybody's buying songs instead of albums. Who listens to full albums back to back?
But they put out singles back in the day.
They put out singles, but they put out those singles just like you were talking about before. They put out those singles, those tapes, where you got side A, you got side B, and you got one song on each side. B-side's probably not even going to make it on the album.
Right.
But you got it to test it out before that CD came out. Like, I remember, this is dumb. I hate fucking Godsmack because I don't like him at all. But I remember going to buy punk rock shit in Mankato at Ernie November, and they had just a boatload of Godsmack singles. I was like, I'll put that in. And then, yeah. And I was like, no.
I was going to ask you, what don't you like about Godsmack?
Just all of it. Just pretty much.
Do you know he wrote, did you know he is the band?
That's fine.
He played every single instrument on that first record. He wrote and recorded the entire first record on every instrument all by himself. Whether you like the sound or his style, you got to admit that's a talented man.
So did the dude from As I Lay Dying who did the...
except for the drums.
Austrian Death Machine.
He did not do the drums.
On Austrian Death Machine?
On the As I Lay Dying stuff. From day one there was
No. not As I Lay Dying. His other band, Austrian Death Machine.
Oh,
where it's all
he also did all the drums and shit for
he
that.
did. Yeah,
All the instrumentation is
Yeah.
what you're saying. I
Where
knew
it's
he
all-
did the guitars. I didn't know he did the drums.
where it's all about. It's all
Schwarzenegger.
It's all
based.
Schwarzenegger stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a band called it for anybody that's confused what we're talking about. There's a band called Austrian Death Machine. The song or the band is thematically about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Get to the chopper.
Yep, they have songs called like "Get to the Choppa." All the lyrics are based in Arnold Schwarzenegger lines from all his movies, so on and so forth. But I here's the thing: is I just can't get into it anymore because dude is one of the most disgusting people on the planet.
Yeah, he did
ran
some
around-
dumb stuff.
He ran around. Well, and my biggest thing is he ran around like talking about like he's a Christian and all this stuff, and like we're not a Christian band. We're just a bunch of dudes who are Christians and happen to be in a band together. And then he got busted for hiring a hitman to kill his fucking wife. Like, go fuck yourself, dude.
It's
Like,
not a good move.
it's not a good look. like, and now he's out and he's like getting right back into it. And he's like, yeah, new Austrian Death Machine coming out. I'm like, dude, I ain't supporting you anymore, dude.
Yeah.
You're fucking. You tried to kill your wife. You could have just left her. Like, this is modern day society. You don't need to kill your wife.
I just
Just
got it.
leave her.
I just got it because I like Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff.
I was
It's pretty
into.
funny.
Here's the thing: is I loved that band and I loved As I Lay Dying until that shit went down, and then I was just like, this is one. This isn't Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose, late '80s, early '90s when he's beating his wife, and I'm like, he was an alcoholic. He was going through a bad time. Still a fan of the music, not the man. This is different. This is
Yeah.
like I can't even put that music on. You know what? You know what just happened to me recently? Is the Michael Jackson thing.
Hold on before you go. I gotta.
You gotta
use
take
your
a leak
bathroom.
again?
Yeah,
Go for it.
Cardinals are killing it.
I know, and I'm only 0.05 points up. If this Edmonds guy touches the ball again, I lose my fantasy fucking shit for the week. Oh, you keep going out the wrong side, by the way. You're all good. It's not that big of a deal. Fuck it. We're sitting here watching the football game in the background, and my fantasy dreams are about to come crashing down. This is not good. Ooh, that's a dirty hit. Yeah, they're definitely going to get him on that one. That was a clean pass defense, too. I don't even know why his dude's got to go hit him like that. Looks like he's hurt. Man down. Man down. I don't even remember what we were talking about before he left. I was going to say something. I was talking about something. What's up, viewers? Looks like there's actually a few watching this live. Hello, guys. I don't usually address... Oh, sorry. I'm on this cam. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. I guess if you guys want to ask questions, you can type them up. I may not get to them, but if you have a question, throw it in the chat. Maybe I'll answer it while he's pissing. Not gonna make a habit out of that though. If you guys put stuff in the live chat. Fuck, dude, I don't want to lose my goddamn fantasy game to the Cardinals backup running back. Ugh, gross. It's gonna have such a bad taste in my mouth. I gotta take a leak soon anyways too. We should probably wrap this up soon. It's getting late. Fucking. Oh, the Cardinals backup. Really? That's what's gonna take my fantasy game off the fucking rails this week? Ugh, gross. That's disgusting. Hey, what were we will you pull that? Yeah, there you go. From the top. There you go. Perfect. What were we talking about before you left? We're talking about something stupid.
Me going to the bathroom?
No, right before that. I was going to say something, and I was like, oh, this will be great, because I can just explain this point while he's gone for the listeners. And then there's a dirty hit on the field.
And then you trailed off?
Well, there's a dirty hit on the field. I got distracted, and I
Oh.
started commentating the game, and then I looked at my thing. I'm 0.05 points above this guy. Like, if Edmonds touches the football, I basically lose this game.
He could go negative, though.
I need him to, and I need him to fumble.
I don't think he's even going to play.
He's already got 2.5 points.
Right, but what quarter are we in?
Third?
Oh, geez. Well, hopefully they go
that dude
to...
just got fucked up.
Hopefully they go to...
Their third stringer?
Yeah, they got to go to third string. Oh, Andy Dalton just letting her rip.
Andy Dalton. Yeah, I don't remember what we were talking about beforehand, but no, I think one thing we need to do is we need to figure out a way, because a lot of guys have budget issues, but we need to figure out a way to build a big coalition so we can fucking have a scene that's worth fucking having again. It's so depressing going out and seeing these amazing bands play in front of 100 people, whereas like 10 years ago they would have played in front of 1,000 people. And then I go to a hip hop show and I see some good, some not so good, and they're playing in front of 3,000. And it's like, what are we not doing? Because people still like our music. It's not the style of music. I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer the question.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. Well, listen, dude, we've been going about an hour and a half. You want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, we can fucking hang out and still watch a football game and shit. But
yeah, we should watch a little more football.
Yeah,
I was just interested that you said, "Hey, come on down to the old podcast." So,
well, I know you're a cadre old fuck, so I figured
pretty
it'd be
much.
good.
Pretty
I
much.
figured it'd be good. It'd be fun.
It
is fun. It's fun to catch up with you guys because I haven't talked to you in so long, and this is just a perfect excuse. You guys can come on and plug your shit.
And yeah, this is the band, and there's some. It's not a cell phone.
How long have you been married,
in the Verizon bag? What's that?
How long have you been married, by the way?
Oh Jesus, going on almost 20 years.
Wow, so you were married way back then too, but you didn't have kids back then.
No, I have.
How old are your kids?
8-year-old and 10-year-old.
How's that fucking before COVID? How do you balance that as a father and as somebody who's trying to play? Do you guys play a lot, or do you tone the?
No, we did. It was pretty much like, I don't know, it's pretty much the same. I mean, shows are at night when kids are sleeping, and I would our practice schedule based on the other guys working. We would do like Tuesday nights at like 9:00 and Saturday mornings at like 9:00 in the morning. So we're probably one of the only metal bands that practices at 9 a.m.
Dude, I can't do two times a week and feel good about playing. Like it's gotta bands gotta be if I'm in a band, we gotta go 3 times a week. It's gotta be 3 times a week.
Yeah, we used to do 3 times a week a long time ago, but 3 times a week is tough.
I mean,
you got to deal with
everybody's. That was
also
before we were pros too. So.
You got to deal with everybody's schedules, and everybody's schedule doesn't always jive. There's always shit that comes up. Brad, our drummer, he's got kids. Jeff lives an hour away. I mean,
when you're pros now, though, like I don't know that every. Yeah, I mean,
we didn't practice for 6 months, and I just practiced before we left our studio. And moved out, and that was right before everything went to shit. I just recorded us live on my cell phone, every song, and I made sure that we played it as best we could all the way through. We played it over and over and over again, and I kept all those on my phone. I just practiced to my phone for 6 months before we've only got
I wouldn't be comfortable
3
with that.
Yeah,
no way.
It's not comfortable, but we went back in after 6 months, and our practice wasn't bad at all. So, I mean,
but are you show confident?
Yeah, I don't give a shit about a show. I'll play a show, and yeah, it'll sound good, and we'll pull it off.
But are you putting your best foot forward? That's my thing.
Yeah.
It's like I can't go.
I always put best foot forward.
I can't. I just can't roll like
that.
But
we're not gonna. We're not gonna have like pyrotechnics and like all this crazy. I'm
just saying, man. Like 6 months of no playing together once, and then you play a show hypothetically. Like
no, we've got.
We're gonna be sloppy.
We got 3 or 4 practices under our belt.
Right. That's why I said hypothetically. Yeah. Like I'm not actually trying to call you out.
Yeah. Would I play a show like right this minute? Yeah. Hell yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I don't care.
It's gonna be sloppy.
Actually, my idea is, and I don't want anybody to steal the idea, but now you can steal it if you watch this podcast or listen to the podcast. My idea is because you're going to have all
You
these.
gotta keep that a little closer.
Yeah,
to you,
because you're going to have all of these restrictions on people coming into your shows and all this stuff. I know I really like playing shows with other bands and playing with my friends and booking shows because I've done plenty of that, like putting the whole bill together. I enjoy that part of it as well. I've always done it. But my idea now is find a small place that will let you play and just do a matinee and a evening show and one band. This is us playing. We play our whole shit at 30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer because I like to talk. But you do that, and you do 5 o'clock, and you do 8 o'clock. Nobody has to stay out late. Nobody wants to stay out late anymore. That's the other thing. Going back to this not packing clubs. Well, yeah, you couldn't get fucking the Hexagon filled with people because you didn't start the show until 11 o'clock, and then the last band is going on at 1:30. Like, nobody wants to... I don't know. I don't want to be out that late. That's just me.
Well, I think that's another big part of the problem is like the metal bands are marketing to the same people they were marketing to 10, 15 years ago. The problem is 10, 15 years ago, those people were 20, 21. Now those people are 35. So
right.
we need to be marketing to younger people, which to me is obvious.
Yeah.
And it's something I do, but it doesn't seem like a lot of our friends who are trying to be serious about music do. They market to adults because they want to play in bars where people get fucked up and don't give a fuck about your band because they're literally only there to get laid. When you start playing to younger crowds, yeah, they're there to get laid because they're horny too, but they're also there to see live music. Like, that's why they're going, because they want to see bands. They're okay with being out till fucking 2 a.m., 3 a.m. They're looking for an actual after party after that. There's just so many things I feel like so many of us have missed our cue. And like you said, that's why you're not packing the clubs, because you're still trying to play to 21 plus older crowds. Like, it's not going to happen unless you got a song on the radio and you're everyone's favorite band. Like, it's just not going to happen, man. You got to go after the burial route. You know, we're doing all ages shows at the Triple Rock on Sundays, and they fucking packed that place.
Yeah, but that's also because all of those guys were like 18 and 19 years old at the time.
Still did it while they were fucking 25, 26, 28, you know?
Right, I mean, because they took those 18 and 19-year-olds.
No, I'm saying they still did all ages shows. There were still kids showing up because that they marketed to kids. John Wheeler fucking marketed at the garage to kids, and those bands blew up. So if you're trying to market to people who are 18 to 25, good fucking luck, man. Those guys are trying to figure out their lives. Like, kids are the ones who are real fans. And that's the other thing, is those are the guys who are going out to see live music. They're not going out to discover a new band. Kids, when you get a kid that becomes a fan of your band, man, that's a fan for life, bro.
True story.
That's a fan for life. And they'll come see you when they're 45 years old because they love your band. So I don't know, man. I think a lot of people are lost, dude. And I have a similar idea to what you had. Very similar. Instead of just doing the one band and do a 5 and an 8, I want to do over the winter. I want to stream concerts, in a small room, get good sound in there, but get sound and video and do 3 or 4 bands, like it's an actual show.
Right.
But,
yeah, there's
do it and do it on a Friday night. You know, do it every other Friday night over the winter, so we have some way of people fucking getting their music out there and enter. Because, dude, there's same thing like you said, dude. People are fucking losing their shit. So,
well, I know Clutch has done that.
Yeah, a lot of people have done them, and some of them are really good, and some of them are terrible.
Had like full shows with multiple bands, and
yeah, and then
NoFX had a what was it? Backyard party at Fatty's. It was an actual party, and yeah, they had multiple bands, and yeah, you can pay for it and do all that, but it's not the same as actually going to a show.
No, but we also don't have that opportunity right now. So what are you gonna do? You know?
And that's what I think. We can talk about it all we want, but really, when it comes down to it,
you gotta get closer to that mic, dude.
Everybody's in the same boat. Everybody is not playing shows. There's some people that are playing shows, but I'm guessing they're playing to a considerable amount less than even if it was unrestricted. But that's why I said doing like a single thing or a one band or a two band, because you're restricted on how many people you can have in there. Well, if you have 4 bands and everybody's got 5 guys in the band, then you can have what? Then you can only have 20 people come in.
That's what I'm trying to get at, though.
I would rather have us being a 3-piece instrumental band. We're going to play. You can come out at this time or you can come out at that time.
Yeah, but here's the thing is that no one cares. That's one band.
Yeah, I know.
Right, but that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Like,
well, it kind of does.
No, but we're talking about our scene and our industry as a whole.
Well,
and like, no offense, but your response to everything is like, well, I don't care. And it's like, okay, well, I mean,
yeah, I know. It's kind of that's what I'm saying. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I'm trying to come up with ideas, though.
I get that.
Like, and we don't have the choice of playing live. We don't have this is not a thing anymore, dude. Like, I can't even put this in here. I have to put it in my Xbox and listen to it through a separate pair of headphones because the fucking computers don't even come with these anymore. Cars don't even come with CD player standard anymore. So as much as I like this and as much as you like this is the past. We got to evolve into the future because even if you're not trying to make money, you still want people to appreciate your music. Otherwise, you wouldn't go through all this effort to press it and put it out. You would just stay in your basement and do it, right?
It's all online as well.
I know, but that's what I'm trying to get at is like adapting. If we were completely anti-technology, we wouldn't put our music online at all. So we've adapted that much. That's good. But this is not saying that we want it to go back to this. Yeah, me too. But that is, what are you going to do?
But they still are, though.
Not
how many
people?
Long.
Not for long, dude.
Yeah, they've actually regressed past that. They've gone to vinyl.
But that's
so don't put it. You can't put a. How's that different than that?
Because a vinyl record has a niche collectible memorabilia standpoint,
right? But you can't listen to that in your car.
No, but no one wants to, and no one tries to.
No, so I mean,
the whole point of these is it's a compact disc that you can take anywhere and play anywhere. Now people do that on their phones.
We need to bring back 8 tracks and laser discs.
That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. And that's the thing is vinyl never went away.
No, but you can't buy a tape player anymore. But all these underground fucking metal bands are making tapes. That's a real thing.
Well, here's the thing: is cassettes have made an actual resurgency for the same exact reason. It's a nostalgia thing. It's marketing. It's memorabilia. It's
super, but you can't get a tape
And I'm not
player.
saying stop doing this.
No, of course not.
I'm using this as an analogy for the concert thing. Like when it's one band just doing one show, no one cares.
Except
However,
for the people that like your band,
which is no one.
Well,
no one likes our bands. No one does. In the world, no one likes our bands. Like if we did a live stream, if your band did a live stream right now, how many people are going to watch?
I don't know.
Probably, no offense, not your band specifically. The proverbial
17.
There you go. There you go. And this is the proverbial you I'm talking about. I'm not attacking Justin. I'm talking about the proverbial you.
It's totally fine.
Exactly. 17 people.
Yep.
That is almost not worth the time and energy and logistics you put into putting on that live stream in order to get it to sound good and look good and make it worth turning into. You could just throw up your phone and live stream on your phone to Facebook if you're looking for 17 views. That's worth it because it takes one click on your phone. However, if we get 4 bands, right, at 17 each, now you've got 80. Now when you got 80 people watching, now you're in 80 people's algorithms and there's a chance more people jump in. Now all of a sudden you can have 250 realistically to 500 check out the bands throughout the night. Now it's almost an event. And you can actually manufacture a small faux crowd because there is 4 bands with 5 guys in it. There's 20 people there. So as long as you can find a building where you're legally allowed to have 20 dudes there, cram them into a small room, you can actually like sort of get the vibe as close to it as you can versus like one band just throwing up their cell phone in the rehearsal space or some guys trying to do a stage thing, but they're doing it in their basement. And like, I don't know. We have to do something. We don't have a choice to just wait till next year till things go back to normal. They may not go back to normal. Like here's why I say this, because people talk about COVID and coronavirus. It's the common cold is a coronavirus.
Correct.
Coronavirus is a family. Here's my point. We've never developed a cure for the common cold. Why are we so convinced that by next summer we're gonna find a cure for something that's in the exact same family? That logic doesn't add up to me. I'm not a biologist. I'm not claiming I am, but to me that's common sense. We can't cure the common cold. Why do we think we're going to cure coronavirus? For me, in my mind, it's going to take a long time before things go back to normal. Venues, even if they did open them up, a lot of them have already collapsed. By the time next spring comes around and people want to go to shows like that again, those venues aren't even going to be here. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
so we have to adapt. And I'm just spinning my wheels and just going, how can we pivot? How can we adapt to where this doesn't devastate every single one of us?
Well, everybody's just making music videos and doing all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think you gotta do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. Personal, I just want to make good music.
There's your fight. Khabib Gaethje, they just had it on the screen.
Yes, can't
That's
wait
this
for
Saturday.
That is Saturday.
See, that's another
Starts
thing
at
that pisses me off.
9:30 in the morning.
That's another
So
thing
awesome.
that pisses me off. Is like when I used to go watch UFC fights, I would go to Buffalo Wild Wings. I'd have a couple beers. I'd have a burger. I'd sit there, usually by myself, because Kate doesn't want to come. So it was like, okay. And, the first couple times it was weird, but then I started to really enjoy it. Like,
Yeah.
I'd go to a busy-ass bar all by myself, find a spot, get a burger, have a couple beers, watch the fights, go home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not there to party, not there to interact with people, right? I'm here to see this fight.
Yep.
Now, with that shit shut down, they ain't doing it. Like, you can't go to UFC. You can't go to Buffalo Wild Wings and see the UFC fights.
Well,
and if you can, it's going to be limited seating, reservations.
a lot of places shut down having the UFC fights at the bars. So
Exactly.
So
now I got to pay $100.
Like even when it was fine, to go out, the only places that you could go were
B-dubs.
No, BW. They dropped it.
I went and seen the very last.
They might
before Corona shut everything down. B-dubs did it, and so did Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's was the only one that I was going to say that actually had them every single time, but not all the BW3s had them.
Huh? Maybe it was just the one that I've been going to. Then.
Only a very, very few, because they have to pay so much money to stream that stuff.
It's way more than what we pay at home.
Yeah, it's $65 to get it at home.
Right. Which is a lot for most people.
Yeah.
That's why we go to B-dubs. But they're paying like $6,500.
But also, when you go to B-dubs and you have a few beers and you have a meal and you have all that stuff, did you just pay close to $65? Probably.
Oh, at least.
So pay $65, get a case of beer for $20, and
fuck that.
Call it a day.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
It is if you're rolling my crew.
No, man. No,
No,
man. No, hold on. No, I got to call you out on this one.
Nope.
It's not the same, and I'll tell you why.
Nope.
I'll tell you why.
I don't give a fuck about those people that are at the bar.
No, it's not the same, and I'll tell you why. Because you just
Tell me
made
about
this
it.
case for the live show. It's not the same. Like
No,
part
it is.
of the deal is being in a room full of people. So when a good knockout happens, the whole crowd goes, "Oh!"
But are you
guys are high fiving and shit?
But are you in a room full of people that are actually like, and just the same as shows? Are you in a room full of people that are there to actually see the people fighting and know anything about the people fighting?
This is what I'm trying to tell you. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like,
or are you just there because there's a big, large amount of people and everybody?
So the B-dubs I went to watch all these UFC fights, it was, you could tell, because Kate and I go there and eat every once in a while, and it was definitely a completely different crowd. They were there for the fights.
Oh, okay.
Like the crowd, dude, it was insane. It was so much fun to go up there, and me ordering it and sitting down here with a case of beer is not the same, bro. It's just
if you have like 4 or 5 people over,
yeah,
and they're all
maybe
sitting and watching, and everybody likes it, and you can all actually communicate, and you're not screaming over the top of each other, which I think is another point. But I like to do stuff at my house.
Yeah,
we've been doing. Me and my friends have been doing UFG, which is I put the TV in the garage and I smoke meats on my smoker.
That's dope.
ultimate fighting garage.
You know what I
we
want
do it
to
in
do?
the garage. I move the outside furniture into the garage and watch.
You know what I
TV.
want to do is I want to order it one of these times, have some people over, have our own little thing, like probably down here actually, just because the setup's right for it, and then order the fights, and then put on Rogan's Fight Companion and actually time it up, and just see what that's like.
I've tried it a couple times.
The problem is they don't always talk about the fights.
Well, yeah.
You know?
Well, you can only talk about the fights so much when there's some shitty fighting going on. Because there's some shitty fights on most of them.
Yep. So he's ahead of me now by 0.35 points. So unless he like goes negative for yardage or fumbles, I'm basically fucked. I'm dead in the water.
You're done.
All right, let's wrap this up, dude. We've been going
Sounds
about
good.
2 hours now. If you guys like this, like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. You can follow him and his band in the description below. Narwhal Design Solutions. I got that in there. Simothwa.
Yep.
Simothwa.
Yep.
See, it's too hard, dude. It's too hard.
It's not too hard.
It's too hard.
It's just letters.
It's too
And they
hard.
all put together and they make a word.
It's too
You
hard.
can look it up and then you can do the
It's too hard.
European
It's too hard.
version. You probably have a Russian guy say it.
All
to
right,
you.
guys.
Google
Thank you
Translate.
Thank you for watching. It's too hard.
It's not.
Thank you for watching, guys. Have a good one. It's too hard.